So let's see, I'm going to do some more mapping. I've got my images. That's when I accidentally hit photo instead of film. And I was at Durham University, so I'll be able to go through that and show you the building site that I mapped. So I've got Java OpenStreetMap Editor, or JOSM, which is an offline tool, so you can download it from the OpenStreetMap wiki. In fact, if you go to wiki.openstreetmap.org, you enter JOSM in the search in the top right, and you'll see it here. And it's got details for its initial setup. Essentially, you install it and it runs on your computer. So it looks a bit like this, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So open, and I've got a file that I've transferred. I usually use OSMand. You can use other apps to record the GPX trace. And so I then save that and transfer it to my computer. So it was February 24th. So I just double click on that, or click and open. And this shows us the GPX trace, which is quite simple. Every 5 seconds or so, it records where I am, and it does a little dot. And then if you kind of joins these dots up to show where I went. Now in JOSM, the first thing I'll do is click up here on imagery, and Bing Aerial Imagery is often a bit slow, but once it loads, it normally serves its purpose to give some context. The next thing I do is right click. You can see here the different layers, the different things we're looking at. So if I right click on the GPX track and click import images, then select a folder, and I can just Control A to select all of those and open them. It then knows when I took the photo, and the GPX track knows when it was recording. Sometimes when I travel, I need to change the time setting, but normally that's all okay. But we can see it's matched these little camera icons. It knows where I was when I took that photo. So correlate, and we're all done. And then zoom in here, I can click one of these and it shows it in the bottom right. Okay, and I can just drag these to make these different things bigger. So it's helpful to zoom in a bit when you're doing this, because you don't want to load more than you need. And there's this down into the computer button. Lets me download from OpenStreetMap. So you can see this is one of the areas I was in. And I'm going to, yep, I'm happy with that area. If I want, I could do a slightly bigger area. But that covers everywhere that I'm going to edit. Might want to edit these bits, I could just click and drag a bigger box if I thought that building needed changing. And the OpenStreetMap data is what I want. I could download the raw GPS, that's sometimes helpful. See other people upload their GPS files so we can see where they are. And the notes are just, as I've explained in the past, they're things people might have pointed out needs fixing. So do all that, click download, and it does its magic contacting the OpenStreetMap server to download the actual data. And this is live and what's actually in the database. So you can see, get more information. I'm going to turn everything off for you. So the downloaded GPX points, that's other people. So you can see this is a main road or route. Let's put the imagery on. In fact, let's put the data on, it's a bit faster. So lots of people have gone that way. I can right click this and customize the colour. Let's make it a kind of teal colour. So you can see there's a lot there, and it gets a bit hard if we see, oh, I've not turned it on, turn on where I've been, and actually let's put that above. So it's going to be hard to see where I've actually been, so I think I'll hide everyone else's tracks and just show my images. So we zoom in. I took a photo here. What was this for? This was to check this is called Jon Snow House. It's not, so I've selected this building, and these are the OpenStreetMap tags. I'm going to remove the source because we're adding our own reasons, and we don't need the source on the actual object. So here, let me do that again. On the tags, I just click, oh, it's already got a name actually. So select this and click edit. It's not called NHS, it's called Jon Snow House, and enter to OK. We could put occupier as NHS. And see, this has lots of join things, so we've got, so yeah, anyway. There's parking marked here. I can see some notes about parking. Actually, what would be better, it's a shame these thing tiles aren't loading today. But instead of doing that point, I can do an area like so. Just click around. Amenity parking, same as this point here, so that can now be deleted. And I can put access PCT staff, which means if there's any apps that use this information just to find public parking, it won't show that one anymore, or it will show it as having special requirement. So that's probably everything from that photo. And then went up here. Ah yes, I noticed something's gone wrong here. The building's missing, so it's the Mountjoy Centre, which, let's put that as that's really a description, and the name is Mountjoy Centre. And so we've got the wings, we've got hawthorn, we've got maple, but holly, something's happened here, and it's just missing the building equals yes tag. In fact, the others are done as building university, as it's part of that, and that's why it didn't appear, and I noticed it missing on my app, so I took the photo. And it'd be helpful to know the main entrance is there, so I'll just put that on that point. There's a path, I think, that leads up just there. That can be highway path. Then we look, I think this photo I just took so I could show you the building site was approaching, although that's helpful. I have to kind of turn my head to understand quite where I was going. So you go up here, we can see the road on the left, and that means the building site is kind of on this corner. Now, I walked around it, didn't I, if we remember correctly? So I did that, and here I think it just kind of came up there, and now I should join those up, but for now I'm just going to put land use construction, and I'll finish that off as we continue with the photos. Now what's this area here? That's talking about the grassland. Well, that's changed, so I could start moving these tags like that. But actually, you can see here by the bigger point there's two joining areas. So there's grassland and the Mountjoy site. So as I say, I could be moving things like this, but that's going to get a bit complicated. What's easier is to... It's all been a bit wrong. I'll select this, which is the grassland. I'm going to select that point and probably that point. So holding Control to select multiple things. Can then press P, which will split them. And that means I can delete that side, so that's gone. And the grassland is only really around there. Okay, that's the Mountjoy site. Although it's extending up here, don't know if that's going to be called Mountjoy or not. It might do. It might just be known as the building name. And what we should do is try and make sure these are on the right side of each other. Zoom in to make sure they're fairly close is the better way to do it. They don't have to be joining because that can confuse things and make it trickier to edit later. But they kind of join up next to each other. There we go. Then we can continue on with our photos. So there was this path that goes here. So this surface is paved. And it seems this is also paved. So I'm going to delete that path, that no longer exists. But we'll add surface paved. And we can improve the location because I know, oh, be careful not to move it, but drag that plus or the points. And there we go, that's kind of how it went. And we can add in these benches as well. So I think community, not sure what a picnic bench is. Picnic bench, we just search on the OpenStreetMap wiki. It's always say leisure picnic table. So actually it's not a bench as such, but leisure picnic table, and Josm puts an icon there. And with that selected, I can do Control C. I can count how many there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe that was all of them, I think. So locations accurate, approximate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's some other things. So second one looks like it's got bin. So the 12th one has just, oh, not on the path. Interesting, that's got a bench by it. I think they've probably just put various things around them. There's an entrance into the building site there. Skip one, there's a bin here. empty wastebasket, and there's a bench at the next one, and nothing that I can see at the last two. So there we go. And oh, I took a different photo. Was this just so I can see? Is that? No, I'm not sure that that's been or not. I don't know why I took that photo. Maybe to just show more of the construction site. The pond's already mapped as natural water. I could map that life ring. Emergency. I'm not sure what it's called. Emergency life ring. Yeah. So one of these things. Place that tag. There's no reference for operator, so emergency life ring. So JOSM doesn't put an icon or autocorrect everything because it couldn't possibly know all the tags, because we can use what we want. But that's something that I know the life rings have been used in the past. In fact, in Durham it was very good for reviewing the safety of the river in Durham. Put mapping on, so per point here the fencing kind of stopped. Although the fence stops, the building site does continue, but it kind of closely follows the pond, assuming you won't climb over there to fall in. That's just where I stopped to film a bit of the earlier video. I might share that picture on Twitter as a sneak preview. And you can start to see the building here, although, as we said, it's also on aerial imagery. So I have the building plugin on JOSM. I think if you go edit preferences and plugins, building tools is there, so ticket, and then kind of OK. It will ask you to restart JOSM though, so maybe I should have told you to do that first. You can see I've got building tools installed. Mapillary is often good to use, and Terracer. Building tools is the main one I use, but there's lots of plugins. It's worth looking at them. Some might be helpful. Maybe there's one I should be using. Let me know in the comments. But let's get on with mapping. So, because I've got the building tool, I can press B, and you see the icon changes. I click here, I click there, and then I pull down and click, and it's giving me a nice square building. I can also do the few little holes. Like so, there's something in there, but that might be construction material. Seems we've got an entrance here, so it's fairly straight at the front. And we can see there's a sort of substation here, so I'm going to do that. It appears to be a separate building, at least on the surface. And I can, because these are all connected, if I hold down Shift to select them all, then Shift J makes it a multi-polygon building. So that means it describes the building with these bits as kind of holes in them, non-buildings. And that was a quick way to add a building. Once you've done it once, it gets a lot quicker. So this was, what was I doing here? Came along here, these paths joined, yes they did. And oh yeah, I kind of walked up there. Then we had a path here. It's probably a footway, obviously diverting other paths. Oh, it wasn't a great day for walking. Full of snow, very muddy, bit boggy. Could be nice for the university to sort that back out as other bits have been diverted. But hey ho. This track, however, so I select the track, hold Control to select that bit, and P, and then it splits it. Hang on, let me explain that as well. So I select it, press P, and OpenStreetMap stores all the history of what's changed. So the bit I want to keep is this bit highlighted up here, the shorter end. And that means if I select that track in the future, we can look at the history and remember it used to be longer. Whereas this bit, I'm going to press delete and it's gone because it is no longer there. So then I continued here. There was a path here. Oh, I came down it later. But that was there. And that seemed to be used quite a bit. I think people realising they can cut free from the botanical garden and these colleges, especially if they know that little cut through, which if it's on OpenStreetMap, they do. Maybe it's why they're using this cut through more to go down here to their lectures. So potentially the university want to pay attention to that and make sure it's well maintained. And then I was on this path, so this no longer exists, so we can delete that, and we can delete that one, and we can do this actually. Just do it from here. That comes more up to there. And this is another highway footway. And surface equals, what options are kind of standard? It's like compacted gravel. There we go. I think that's most appropriate. I think it's been done as a result of the building work. Which reminds me, we've got this building site, so we need to continue mapping exactly where it is. And then we got up to here. So here there was a surface road. I'm gonna delete that. That path no longer exists. And that seemed to go there into what was a car park for the building site. So amenity parking access equals building site. You can even map temporary things in OpenStreetMap. And that path connects there, just straight up to the building site. Actually, what more photos did I take? There was some sort of path there. I didn't map it fully, but I could see it connected on. But I'm just mapping that as path because it's not quite as important or established as the footpath. Although perhaps that's hard to tell in the snow. So that point I took a photo to know I was in line with the building, so I could have taken that roughly. I could have also taken a photo from here and multiple places to line up knowing where the edge of the building was, but it's already on Bing Aerial Imagery, so we can use that. So there we go, and I think actually it's all a bit confusing which way around this building site's supposed to be. This is very much where the building site is, but there is a gate there. If I wanted, I could map things like barrier, a fence, but I feel that's going to take me a bit too long today to do that detail. And the building site normally has a fence. I think you'd be wise if you thought you couldn't get through. And so this service track, let's just turn the imagery off for a moment. I could do that. That would be wrong because it doesn't join up. I need to actually make sure it highlights that node and they join. And you can see the dot's a bit bigger because it's joined to something. In the same way with this path, I've joined it up to the road. And that means the navigation apps will be able to find a route. So if you're here and you want to go somewhere else in Durham, it will be able to say you go along here, join the road, and then say whatever directions are next. And join the building site up, and you can see it colours it all in nicely for us. And what was this? This was a nice, I think this is just a photo of what the weather was doing. Felt sunnier at that point. There we go. And my next photo was a bit further on. So where was that photo? You can see it highlighted in red. It was there. I'd had to download that part of OpenStreetMap before editing that. But I think this is probably long enough. I've done a nice area, a site in lots of detail. Took me half an hour to do this. This good. That looks like it could be just rotated to straighten up. But yep, I'm happy with that. So my video is about to end, but I'm going to upload this once I fix this area. Doesn't need to say that. Upload details around the new building site of the uni. Which reminds me, I've not put a name on this. Name equals computer science and mathematical sciences, because they've not got an official name yet. They didn't like my suggestion. Only name. Edit the multi-point and gone. Then I can say name equals that. Building is university. And there we go. And then I should be able to upload it now. No issues. And the source. GPS I've used, survey, photos, Bing. There's also a bit of local knowledge because I know what the building is and I know some of the things on there. And survey date